Welcome back. In today's lecture, I am going to talk about the necessary condition for optimal control. So far, what we have observed that how to apply variational approach to solve some kind of optimization problem. Now, in this class onward, I am going to talk about that how to design some kind of control which is basically optimal in some sense, such that whatever trajectory that is basically that particular trajectory is going to minimize some kind of functional. So that is our actually overall idea, and due to that reason we have spent so much time to understand the variational calculus. So we have already seen that if we have certain system, then what happens that I have independent variable that is called control input, and obviously I have dynamics here. So this is the system, and I have certain kind of internal state, and if I know the initial condition and if I will apply this particular ut, then I will get output yt. And what we are assuming here that all states are going to reflect on the output. So what basically we are telling that in control problems, the system trajectory, so here output is nothing but states, future state, and basically that is determined by the applied control, because we are assuming that if I know the initial condition, if I apply the control, then I will get the unique output. And here I am assuming that on output we have all futuristic state that is going to appear. And if we see this process, so basically in this particular process, whatever optimization problem that is constrained by the dynamics of the process, it means that whatever input output relation we are getting, that somehow related by some kind of differential equation, and somehow that is constrained. So suppose if states xt that belongs to Rn, so I have n plus m dimension. Here I am assuming that ut belongs to Rm. So out of n plus m variable, I am only able to claim that m variable is independent, and with help of m variable I am going to generate this state or output, we are telling that, and due to that reason we are telling that remaining n and whatever x belongs to Rn, that is somehow constrained for the optimization problem, and we have already discussed about this. So far I have already talked about this class of problem, that is constraint problem, and what we have observed that if you take the help of Lagrange multiplier, then this class of problem become again easy, because finally we come up with the Euler equation. And apart from Euler equation, we have certain kind of, again, some kind of boundary condition. So in order to find the solve the optimal control problem, basically we are solving the Euler equation, as well as we are make sure that whatever boundary condition that is satisfied. So with this background, now onward I am going to talk about the optimal control problem. So this portion is called variational approach of the optimal control problem. And what is objective? In today's lecture, first I am going to derive the necessary condition for the optimal control, and for time being, what basically we are assuming that whatever admissible control that is not bounded. So just for the development of theory we are assuming, and latter part of this course we are going to see that suppose that if states are bounded or control are bounded, then how to define optimization problem. And after defining that kind of optimal control problem for linear system, in this part of course I am going to talk about two different classes of problem, that is time optimal control problem, as well as we have to solve that suppose we have limited resource, then how to optimize that resource to solve the control problem. It means that suppose if we have limited or bounded control input, then how to solve the optimal control problem. So let us start to find the necessary condition for the optimal control problem. So again I am going to take the very general class of system, and you all are well aware that this class of system is called basically non-autonomous force system, because time is explicitly appear here, and I am assuming that xt states that belongs to Rn, u belongs to Rm, and a that is function that is mapping from Rn Cartesian products Rm, and here R because we have three different argument to Rn. So that is just definition of the general class of problem. And after that, what is our objective? Our objective to follow an admissible trajectory, and that trajectory I am going to define by x star, and what we are hoping that I have some kind of performance measure, and I am going to define performance measure like this. And here you can see that during the definition of this performance measure I am just writing that is function of u. Why? Because I have already told you that I have n number of constraint, only I have m number of independent variable that is going to decide the futuristic trajectory. So since I know the initial condition or initial time, due to that reason what we are assuming that this particular quantity that is performance measure is just function of u, because if I know the u and x t0 and tf, then I can generate the futuristic trajectory xt. Now if you see this performance measure, so this is basically little bit different from the previous lecture. In the previous lecture just we are assuming that performance measure like this t0 to tf, that is some kind of functional g x t u t t. It means that this map to some kind of real number. But here whenever we are talking about the optimal control problem, we are also going to incorporate this terminal constraint, so or terminal performance measure. So this is again some kind of functional that is explicit function of the final time tf and final state xtf. Now I have to specify the assumption, because now I have defined the problem and we understood that in this particular problem I have to generate x star such that this x star is going to minimize this particular performance measure, and this particular performance measure has now two part. So terminal part is also here, and apart from that I have regular. This we have already seen in variational whenever we are solving the optimization problem from the variational calculus. Now here assumption, and we have already seen that what I am assuming, that admissible state and control region both are basically might be unbounded. We are not assuming that is bounded. And another assumption that we are assuming x0 and initial time t0 is specified, because I have told you that if I know the x0 means internal variable, if I know the input, then I can generate the output, and at that time it is possible to define performance measure like this. So this kind of assumption we are assuming here. Now apart from this, what we are assuming, that h is differentiable function, and this assumption, if we believe on this assumption, it is possible to show that again I can able to reconfigure the performance measure such that this performance measure is converted same like whatever performance measure we have considered in order to solve the optimization problem. And due to that reason we are going to assume this, and here I am going to use that kind of factor that differentiation is the inverse process of integration, and same due to that way we are going to write like this. So in place of this terminal functional, what I am going to do now, I am going to substitute it inside the performance measure. Now you can see that I can able to define performance measure like this. And here one more important point, you can see that this particular term, that is function of initial condition t0 and xt0, and we know that both are specified. If both are specified, and if we are going to calculate the variation of j, then basically the optimization problem remains the same, either we consider this part or not consider, because these quantity is well known to me, because I am knowing t0 and xt0. Due to that reason I am going to assume that h is hxt0 and t0 is known to me. So same kind of things I have written here. Since xt0 and t0 are fixed, the minimization or optimization doesn't affect xt0 and t0 term. So we need consider only the functional, that is function of this g, xt, ut and t, and whatever the differential of that h, xt into t. So now if you expand this part, this particular part, then it is possible to show that h, x, t and t, so this is explicit function of xt, h is actually function of xt and t, and due to that reason I have to consider the partial derivative with respect to x, and after that we have to consider that dou h by dou x, and after that dx by dt, because xt is just function of time, and due to that reason x dot t comes into picture here. And since here this particular quantity is also function of time t, due to that reason this term comes into picture. Now what we have to do, I am going to substitute this particular quantity x dot after some time. Before that, what I am going to do, we are going to consider the constraint. So what happens now, you can see that now my functional is modified like this, and apart from this, during the minimization process we do not have to violate the constraint, and due to that reason we have to consider the constraint also inside the performance measure, and we know that how to incorporate that. So using idea of Lagrange multiplier, one can able to incorporate that particular constraint into the performance function. We have already seen this kind of things when I was dealing with the calculus of variation problem with constraint. So functional with constraint we have already seen, and at that time what basically we are doing, whatever performance measure we have, apart from that we are going to add some kind of extra term, and where pt, the dimension of this pt or number of element inside pt is same as the number of constraint inside the system, and we know that order of system is n, so that is governed by nth order differential equation, and due to that reason I need n number of Lagrange multiplier, and after that I have to write dynamics a x t u t minus t minus x dot t. So in this way what basically we are telling that now we have augmented functional, and this augmented functional is going to take care about the terminal thing due to these two terms. Apart from that, that is going to actually take care about the constraint, and this part we have already seen. So now once we are dealing the optimal control problem, so basically just we have certain kind of modification in the functional with respect to whatever we have learned during the calculus of variation, means calculus of variation with constraint minimization. So now GA is basically, if you see carefully, then that is function of xt, x dot t, dynamics of the system, ut means control, pt is the Lagrange multiplier, and explicit function of time. So in that way, in that particular language, I can interpret problem like this. So this part is same like the previous development. This basically comes into picture due to constraint, and this part is basically appear due to the terminal factor. So if you see this problem, if after defining this problem properly, one can tell that the optimal control problem is exactly same like the variational calculus problem, provided if I minimize this particular functional, that is function of xt, x dot t, ut, pt and t. Now from the calculus of variation, we all are well aware that in order to show that this particular problem, means this particular functional or some kind of trajectory x star or u star is going to minimize this particular functional, provided the variation equal to 0, and due to that reason we have to calculate the variation. One more important thing, since I know the differential equation, so it is possible to show that this particular variation, that is final variation delta xtf, that is variation delta xf minus x dot tf into delta tf. So we are going to use this kind of relation to simplify the variation, whatever variation we are going to get. So now in order to solve the optimization problem, again I am going to apply the necessary condition of the optimal control problem, and what we have to do, we have to just make sure that first variation that equal to 0, and if you see the variable, so I have xt, x dot t, ut, pt and t. So I have to see variation with respect to x, variation with respect to x dot, variation with respect to u, variation with respect to Lagrange multiplier p, and variation with respect to time t. So due to that reason I have now several term that comes into picture. So, and if you do variation with respect to xf, tf, u as well as the t, then this kind of things comes into picture. So it is pretty easy to check, and during variation, after calculating variation, I am assuming that I have already substituted this kind of things. So in place of xtf, I am going to substitute delta xf. So this kind of things, and we have already seen this kind of relation. Now after calculating the variation, now we have to see the term little bit carefully. So I am going to first talk about the term inside this particular integral. Why I am going to just start from the term inside this particular integral? It is possible to show that some term inside this integral is going to adjusted and that equal to 0. And due to that reason, I am going to start from that particular term. Here you can see that I am going to calculate dou GA with respect to x, and here with respect to x dot, and GA is nothing but I have some kind of augmented function like this. So if you calculate dou GA by dou x dot with respect to x and with respect to x dot, it is possible to show that this kind of things basically comes into picture. And again, if you take the second partial derivative, here what I am assuming that whatever h I have defined, that is 2 times at least differentiable. Otherwise, I cannot calculate the 2 times differentiability of this. And if you check the literature, in literature, people has also solved those kind of problem where basically h is not differentiable. But that I am not going to take care in this particular course. Now, if you do this, it is possible to show that either you can first take the partial derivative with respect to x and partial derivative with respect to time, or you can do opposite. Both are exactly the same. So here I am going to apply the chain rule, and after that I am going to apply that kind of idea, and from this idea it is possible to show that this whole term that equal to 0. So now if you see the remaining term inside the integral, again please try to do calculation by yourself. It is possible to show that now I have this kind of term dou g by dou x, after that dou a by dou x, and this kind of term. So that part is now just calculation. So if you do calculation, then now what happens that now we have several note about this calculation. What is first important note, that since I am going to solve some kind of optimization problem, and we know that variation equal to 0. So how basically variation equal to 0? So I have to make sure that whatever term inside integral, that should be 0. And when that term is 0, you can see that pt is basically not fixed. So I cannot assume that delta p is 0. That may be any arbitrary value, and due to that reason I have to make sure that whatever multiplication of delta p, that equal to 0. Similar story about the u, because ut is independent, so I cannot assume that delta u is fixed. That may take any value, and due to that reason whatever coefficient, that should be 0. Similar kind of a story about the, I have a story about the delta xt. Delta xt is not fixed, and due to that reason I cannot assume that equal to 0. So whatever coefficient, that should be 0. So based on these three discussion, it is possible to show that whatever multiplication of delta xt, that should be 0. Similarly, what is multiplication? Multiplication factor of delta u, that should be 0, because somehow I have to make sure that variation equal to 0. So I have no other option, and due to that reason I have to make sure that whatever term, multiplicative term of delta u, that should be 0. Similarly, whatever multiplicative term of delta xt, that should be 0. Whatever multiplicative term of delta pt, that should be 0. And using that I am able to get the several condition. So same kind of things I have written here. We first observe that constraint this must satisfy by an extremal, so the coefficient of delta p is 0. So either you can interpret like this, or you can interpret like this. Since pt is arbitrary, pt is not fixed, due to that reason delta pt I cannot assume that is fixed, and due to that reason coefficient equal to 0. So both way you are able to get same result. Similarly, now what we have to make sure that the Lagrange multiplier are arbitrary. So let us select them to make coefficient of delta xt equal to 0. And if you will do that coefficient of delta xt, that this delta xt equal to 0, then what happens? I have some kind of partial differential equation that is in term of these variable. So same kind of things I'm going to collect here. So I have already collected one equation, and after that I have second equation, and this equation is called co-state equation. So in order to solve the optimization problem, I have to solve this co-state, because since out of n plus m variable, since m is only independent, so what we are going to do, we are going to introduce n different variable such that finally I have n plus m independent variable, and that extra variable n, that is nothing but Lagrange multiplier. So what happens? Finally I have n minus m independent variable, and if I have n plus m number of independent variable, then whatever my constraint problem, that is actually mapped back to regular calculus of variation problem. So that way basically we are progressing, and if we progress like this, since we are adding n number of some kind of co-state, and due to that reason during the optimization one equation is going to appear, that is called co-state equation. After that the remaining variation delta u is independent. We have already talk a lot about this particular delta u that is independent, so coefficient must be 0, and after that we will get this kind of equation, and this is basically some kind of algebraic equation. So from the constraint we get one differential equation, from the co-state we are going to get one differential equation, and after that putting the term which is multiplied with delta u equal to 0, since ut is independent, again I have some kind of algebraic equation. And apart from this, we have to make sure that whatever term that is outside of the integral, because till now we have just focused the term which is inside this particular integral, but we have to take care about the outside term. So these whole things is nothing but outside term, and you can see that in this outside term, if you assume that final value xf is not known, then delta xf is also not known, so coefficient of this equal to 0. If xf is well known, then automatically this equation, this delta xf is 0, then this particular coefficient then there is no need to put this particular coefficient equal to 0. But suppose that this particular xf means final value is not fixed, then we have to make sure that coefficient of this should be 0. Similarly, we have to make sure that coefficient of delta TF, that is also 0. So from that particular angle we have more equation. So already we have 3 equations, one from the constraint, another from the co-state, and another from the term which is multiplied with V U. And after that, now in order to make sure that this particular functional is minimized, we have to make sure that outside term is also 0. So due to that reason, this constraint basically comes into picture. And we already know that what happens, that every time, whatever time you can select, either initial time, final time, in between time, everywhere that constraint or that process differential equation should be satisfied. So I can able to calculate the value of x dot star TF, and if you substitute that value here, because here I have x star TF, then what happens, we will get this kind of expression. Now what we have concluded, that in order to solve the optimal control problem, we have to proceed like this. Suppose I have to minimize some functional, and whenever we are considering the optimal control problem, then we have some kind of terminal functional also. So we are defining terminal function. Apart from that, whenever I have some kind of physical system, and suppose that physical system is governed by differential equation, so they are going to create some kind of constraint, and due to that reason we need Lagrangian multiplier. So with help of Lagrangian multiplier, now we have n plus m variable, out of which m is just independent. So what we have done, that by introducing n number of the Lagrange multiplier, we are going to make sure that whole equation n plus m is independent, and after that we are going to solve. And how to solve? Just we have to make sure that variation equal to 0. So this is the complete picture of the necessary condition when if I have to design some kind of optimal control problem, then what set of differential equation or algebraic equation we have to solve. So if you see this process, then process looks little bit lengthy. And finally what happens, that in order to simplify this process, and obviously I have to maintain whatever we have done here, one more important idea comes into picture, that is called Hamiltonian. So what basically Hamiltonian is telling, that how to simplify this process. So what is basic idea? You can define some kind of functional like this. So whatever inside integrand means you have to minimize some functional. So I have two terminal plus inside the integrand I have term. So you can collect that. After that, with help of Lagrangian multiplier and whatever dynamics, you can just take that two part only. And after that, what you can do, now you can see that this Hamiltonian functional H is basically a Hamiltonian function, basically not functional, because here that is basically functional, because this is one dimension. G, X, T, U, T and T, that is one dimensional, and P transpose, this is not one dimensional, but we are multiplying with P1, P2, Pn, then this also converted into one dimension. So this is basically functional. So now this particular functional is function of X, T, U, T, Pt and T. So how to calculate the necessary condition such that optimal control problem exists? What you have to do, you have to first calculate the partial derivative with respect to P, and partial derivative with respect to P is nothing but x dot. So now what you can do, after doing this kind of things, you can define this function and check this. You are able to see that basically by calculating partial derivative of this with respect to p, I am going to get same kind of equation, and that is obvious from here also, because in this particular term there is no p. So if you take the partial derivative, then obviously this kind of things comes into picture, and that is nothing but equation of constraint. Now another equation you can generate by taking the partial derivative of h with respect to x. And it is possible to show that if you just put negative sign, then whatever Lagrange multiplier, their rate of change comes into picture. Or you can also think this as a co-state equation. So you are able to generate co-state equation just by differentiating this Hamiltonian function. And after that, third function, algebraic function, you can able to generate by taking partial derivative of Hamiltonian with respect to u. And this particular differential equation you have to solve between these two times t0 to tf, because I know that I am going to start my process at t0 and going to end my process at tf. So we have three different kind of conditions, such that whatever integral term, inside integral term, that is 0, apart from that we have certain kind of some more condition, and it is possible to show that that condition also one can able to generate with help of this particular Hamiltonian. And by the back calculation, it is possible to show that that is actually given like this. So dou h by dou x at and x star tf, p star tf, and after that is multiplied by dou xf, and after that this is Hamiltonian term, and after that this. So now what happens, that whatever lengthy calculation we have done, that is no need to actually recall. Just what you can do, whenever you have you have to solve some kind of, or you have to define some kind of optimal control problem, first you can define the Hamiltonian, and after that what you can do, take the partial derivative of Hamiltonian with respect to p, that is Lagrange multiplier, then you are able to get the rate of change, optimal rate of change, you can tell, of optimal rate of change of a state variable. And after that, if you take the partial derivative with respect to the state and putting negative sign, then you are able to get the optimal Lagrange multiplier, rate of change of optimal Lagrange multiplier, and whatever algebraic equation you have seen, one can generate by taking the partial derivative. And apart from this, whatever extra condition, that is in terms of delta xf and delta tf. So since in several boundary, by taking several different kind of boundary condition, I can able to choose delta xf and delta tf. So it is possible to show that one can also able to express this particular term like this. So in this way, one can able to generate the necessary condition such that this particular differential equation x dot equal to a x t u t and t, and whatever basically performance function we have defined, that is h x tf and tf, and after that I have t0 to t and g x t u t and t and into dt. This particular so we have this particular system, we have this kind of performance measure, and suppose we have to calculate the value of control u, such that this value u is going to generate some kind of trajectory, or basically we are talking about the optimal control. So u star, then x star is going to generate, I am assuming that xt0 and t0 is known, that basically going to minimize this functional. So for that, now we have to basically first define the Hamiltonian. So I have to collect this particular term. I have to define the Lagrange multiplier, and after that we have to multiply Lagrange multiplier with this, and after that we have to take 3 partial differential equation, and apart from that we have to also make sure that this kind of partial differential equation again that is going to hold. And in this way I am able to calculate the necessary condition for the existence of optimal control problem. In next class I am going to actually see that how to define optimal control problem by taking different boundary condition, because if we select different boundary condition, then this necessary condition is going to modify. So we will check that, and after that we are going to talk about the linear quadratic regulator problem based on this particular theory, and that part is little more interesting. So what we have seen till now, that I have some process, and basically we have to design control such that whatever future trajectory or whatever state trajectory that is going to generate, that will follow some kind of optimal path such that whatever performance measure that is going to minimize. So this, whenever this kind of problem comes into picture, at that time idea of Lagrangian comes into picture. And whenever idea of Lagrangian comes into picture, then what happens, that if I define some kind of Hamiltonian functional, then what happens, that solution of problem become much more easier. So with this remark I am going to close the today's lecture, and next lecture I am going to continue the same lecture by taking different boundary condition. So with this remark I am going to end the today's lecture. So thank you very much.